Hello and welcome back to Axis and Allies. This video will be about what I think is an important lesson I've learnt throughout this season so far, as well as a pro tip from a top player. Now, I wanted to discuss the importance of being patient when ahead. When you are ahead in a game, it is not necessary to take risks. I've personally struggled with being impatient throughout my time playing A&A. Additionally, identifying, and I quote, win more moves. I'm not going to take credit for this pointer. This was advice I heard from the top player, Blacktide. So shout out to him. Be sure to check out his channel. He showcases his participation in the A&A League in the Generals division, which I will clarify is the top division, on Discord. Now, a win more move will be considered a move that you could make when you are ahead, that could possibly make your position on the board even more advantageous for you, despite you already having a significant advantage on the board. These moves often come with a significant risk, or a little bit of risk, that could potentially backfire if it results in failure. This could then give your opponent the opportunity needed to come back or equal the playing field. Now, onto the example. Alright, here is the board here. It is currently round 7, and I'm playing the Axis. This is what the board state looks like right now. Fairly obvious that is currently Axis favoured. Now, I'll try and provide brief context to how this board developed, and I'll be highlighting key events. So, all the way back to round 1. Standard 8 infantry build for Russia. Catastrophic Ukraine, and an above average West Russia. The Ukraine result negates the success in West Russia. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. It's a pretty brutal start for Russia. He retreated with a tank and 2 fighters. Left me with an artillery tank and both my planes alive, fighter and the bomber. Already, G1, I have the advantage. Germany, I went for the tank build. Stacked Ukraine, standard moves. Only lost a submarine in Season 7. So just pretty much a almost perfect round for Germany after this catastrophic Russia 1. Stacked Ukraine. Sent 3 infantry and an AA gun into Karelia. UK. Standard build, 3 infantry, 2 fighters. Standard moves besides leaving my fleet alive. Don't agree with that. Especially after this Ukraine failure. It's going to lead on to a knock-on effect that I should explain further on. He left my fleet alive. I had 2 submarines and a cruiser left. No pressure from the UK round 1, which would then proceed to round 2. Round 3, right? And standard. Conservative buy. Since I was expecting a Season 37 because Ukraine went so bad, but it didn't happen. Just a standard Season 61. Standard Japan moves with relative success. Pretty good round for Germany and Japan, so objectively very far ahead still, despite the success of UK 1. Due to the success of Germany round 1 and the failure of Russia round 1, I chose not to go for India. Go straight for Russia with both Axis members. That is the safer play, in my opinion. Though I could have very well gone straight for India, and it would have most likely been mine due to the board positioning on G2. But I chose to play conservatively there. Standard US KGF build, and then killed my cruiser in Season 7. Russia, unorthodox round 2 buy, 2 fighters. I'm not sure about that, but it's not as punishing as it would have been because he traded as minimal as possible and only 1 territory. G2, max pressure on Moscow build, 2 tanks and 2 bombers, 2 tanks to Karelia because he did not trade Karelia or strafe it. 2 bombers to max pressure on Moscow. My planes were in Finland, so dead zoning the seas with my subs. UK could not drop a fleet, especially with the 2 bomber builds as well. And the bonus bomber from Ukraine stacked the Caucasus. Planned to send my Japanese planes. The game just keeps coming into my favor. Standard UK could not put a fleet down. He's opting for air purchase with, weirdly enough, all allied members who filter into Moscow to try and save Moscow, right? Standard UK moves. He could not push forward because my submarines... Wait, I think he did actually. I think he went to 10, so I had to back off. Standard progression to retaking the Atlantic. Standard Japan. Then, yeah, standard expansion and buy. Went for Kazakh because it was exposed to my tank and air force. My aircraft were going this way anyway. Since I wasn't going for India, I like to bring the tank down to allow me to go for this Kazakh raid, right, with the tank and air force. Most cases, it's a profitable battle for Japan because most likely they'll get 1 hit. The Allies will get 1 hit. In this case, I got unlucky, got a double hit back. So be it. I had very comfortable odds to stack the Caucasus anyway. Standard US with the fighter purchase to slowly funnel into Moscow. And actually, on Japan's turn, I blocked 35 because the UK fleet was still in 34 with a transport. The US took a risk play, which was needed, in my opinion, to great success. Cleared the blocker, the German infantry in Archangel, and cleared my destroyer block in 35. I was thinking, great, this is going to be a thorn in my side. That was a great round from the US, much needed. After all this air purchase, 7 more infantry because he just needs infantry at this point because I'm stacked the Caucasus to get pretty good odds on it. He was sending every available plane as well. Yeah, took Archangel Ukraine and failed Bellow. Yeah. So when it came to G3, I think I had roughly a 70% on Moscow. Now, the board positioning was so Axis favored for me. I didn't need to take the 70% on Moscow. This is what I would consider a win more move. I mean, it's not a win more move. I suppose it is a winning move. But essentially, this was a risk. If I won this, the game would have been over. Like, it would have been fairly obvious that the game would have been over. But there was a significant risk it would have backfired. What I've learned and what top players I've heard from top players is that when you're ahead, take no odd below 99% odds to conquer. There's no point blundering a potential winning a one game because of a 10%, 20%, even a 30% like I was offered here. I played conservative and I chose to play the long game. An eco game. Germany was making like 46, 50 IPC at this rate. Bam. Just infantry, infantry, infantry. Germany is not going to fall in this KGF. You got to play and try not to lose the game, right? You got to think, how can you not lose this game? When you're ahead, how can you not lose this game? Standard UK. Tax as well. Japan standard. Japan cleared the fleet in 34 because the UK did not go for East Indies because I offered him Egypt, right? Yeah, stacked Egypt flight and offered the UK to either contain the Germans in Egypt or go take East Indies. He went for Egypt and failed, which was probably the best result could have hoped for. Yep, the air purchase from the Americans, it's just not going to help him. Another fighter from the Russians. So G3 was a pivotal moment. I could have gone for Moscow, I chose to not. So I played moves according to... I played my moves to a long game. So him buying these fighters has actually not been as detrimental as they could have been. Since he was trading very minimally with Russia, trading as much as he could with the rest of the allies for Russia, he had a lot of infantry left. Now the fighters are actually a boon to Russia and the allies now. It's still debatable whether he should have given up the extra 2 fighters that he purchased. 1 fighter is fine with Russia. I've not exceeded that personally, so I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. But now it seems to not be a problem for him because I'm not actively going for Moscow. Instead, if we go to... Yeah, that's the Russian purchase. The Allies stacked 3. Sea Zone 3. Round 3. So I decided to take a risk with Germany and went for the fleet. But this risk was a 95 in my favor. I don't know if he actively offered that, but there was 4 transports there. There was no aircraft defending. There was only 1 battleship. I had the numerical and more quality dice, but I went for the battle. Got slightly below average. I was only supposed to lose 2 fighters, but it doesn't matter. This is not really classed as a win more move because it's just straight up. It was roughly a 63 IPC profit for the Axis, so honestly I had to take that. Despite, of course, there was that 5% where it could have backfired, but it didn't. So what I'm doing now, after these turns, not much has happened. It's just been trading. Japan's just been expanding. Germany has just been expanding into Africa. Uncontested. Germany has stacked the VCs. Because now, I'm going to go for a VC win. Because it's easier than just going for Russia. Japan has stacked Burma. I'm going to be going for India. Because it's completely isolated. Throughout these past 4 turns, Germany has been trading Persia, trading the units that the UK has sent to Africa. Japan has been trading Burma. Eventually, India will be mine. I've now stacked Burma, so now there's a death clock on India. Of course, since I'm not actively going for Moscow anymore, he could send a bunch of planes to India. So with Germany, I'm going to need to concentrate on that. I have the stack set up. I just need to concentrate on more pressure on Moscow to pin down some of these planes so Japan could probably get away with taking India, right? Worst case scenario, I'd have to give up the Caucasus and I can't take India. But the game is so advantageous for the Axis. India should still eventually be mine. US is going to have this, well, it looks like he's not even going to bother sending units. So Germany's going to making a crap ton of money. If I have to give, especially since the US has stacked this now, I'm probably going to have to send quite a bit reinforcements back now. I can just shut up with Germany. Germany's at 152 attack power. Germany will not fall to this KGF. It would take like dozens of turns potentially, right, to bring Germany to its knees. So I'm just playing patient. When you're ahead, I do think it's fairly important to be patient and to identify moves that are win more moves that could potentially backfire and cause your lead to fall and give your opponent the ability to come back. That's essentially what I've decided to do in this game. Go for more conservative and safer option, which is a VC snipe. And grabbing all the income. Look at the income the Axis are making compared to the Allies. This is only going to project me further ahead. The advantage is only going to build. Once India's fallen, if I can continue to stack Karelia, the game is even more sealed in my favour, because Germany can give up the Caucasus, just stay safe and stack Karelia. France. Russia can't really do much, because Japan will be in Persia and threatening to stack Kazakh, right? People are wondering why there's an artillery in France. Because I needed it to get like 90+% odds to hold. Since I'm ahead, I'm not going to offer anything more than a 10%. Bearing in mind at the time I had the Japanese fighters here, so if he did a 1-2, it would have been sealed in my favor. The transport here was to ensure that I have roughly a 75% to hold. Even if the UK somehow wins this 25%, Germany could just go for India with this infantry stack and bring the tanks home. That's how strong Germany is. That's how strong the Axis are right now. Even if he somehow gets like a... Don't want to manifest this, but if he wins the 25%, then we can stack Persia, putting the tanks back, retreat from this position, hold the VCs, and India will be mine within the next couple turns. Alright, well hopefully I've explained this thoroughly and simply, as simple as possible. And yeah, that should be it. Thank you so much for watching, appreciate your time, and I'll catch you in the next one.